Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is Doc T and Dr. Johnson.
Hey.
We are here at SHARC Doc Talk. It's harder to say than you might think.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. Anyway, welcome back. We're going to start off with our usual. We'll check in for the week. We actually have a fun, curious case with a young man that Johnson here is going to ramble on about.
We're going to start with that one?
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, let's get into good stuff.
All right, cool. Yeah. So I have a 9-year-old. Yeah, he's not. He's still 9. I was trying to remember when his birthday was, but he's
9 or 10, somewhere in there.
He's a kid. 9-year-old hockey player, really good. He first came up to us with right-sided knee pain. Yeah, it was right-sided knee pain. Parents were concerned, obviously, because he does play a lot of hockey, but then got some scans and everything like that. Saw that it wasn't necessarily anything really sinister.
Right.
But it was a lot of pain where the knee was swollen. He couldn't really move around well. And, when we think about kids playing sports, like, oh, they're just playing sports. Apparently this kid is already getting scouted. So
yeah, hockey is an interesting sport. I will say that. I hear that a lot around here because for some reason in Southern California, it's a hockey hotbed.
I don't know why.
My wife's from Minnesota. She gets so mad. She's like, we have frozen water half the year to skate on.
Yeah.
We don't in California, but I'm like,
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Yeah.
So Florida. Nice job.
Yep. Florida Panthers.
Yes, sir.
Or Florida Wild. I don't know their names anymore.
Yep.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Panthers.
that's right.
But back to the case. He really came back to us for like knee pain related stuff. His parents were bringing him in because they know what we do. That family is hilarious. Just to give you a little bit of an idea of what this kid is capable of doing. He plays really hard to the point where there was one point he fell and he got ran over by skates.
Yeah.
Over the neck, and apparently he was fine. So that's
I remember that call. Yeah.
He's a tough kid.
Yes.
And
yes,
it's hard.
And he doesn't like me at all.
No. Yeah.
I touched him I worked on him for like 30 seconds.
Yep.
And he saw you walk by and goes, Doc, David, I want you. It's like, all right, little bugger.
Yeah. Yeah. So we joke around about that all the time. It's like, I could always just send you to Doc T if you're not going to listen.
Oh, that's a good one. Yes. It's like a punishment, but not.
Yeah. But yeah, he came in like a couple months ago with that. The difficulty was that was mid playoff season. So
he was heading into finals. So, yeah.
When he first was complaining about that problem. So the issue there, as both doc but also competitor, I kind of get hey, we want to get you to play, but also we have to kind of monitor a couple things here, right?
We can't break you, but we want to push you close to it.
Yep.
And that's a tough one with a 9 or 10-year-old because let's just say when you ask them a question, their vocabulary to respond is not big.
Yeah.
It's, how are you feeling? Fine. How's the knee? Good.
Yeah.
Any pain? Do anything? No.
Yep.
Okay.
And then you kind of have to do tests in different ways, right? So I
trick them.
Yeah, I can't necessarily always just say, I am going to touch here. Let me know if it hurts. Sometimes I just, hey, we're going to talk. Push the knee and we talk. Yeah.
Not to sidebar this, but there are times with patients you have to kind of trick them. Not because it's more like they're in pain, so they're already unhappy.
Yeah.
So therefore everything's going to hurt. And it's like you have to kind of find things that don't or see how they move so you can kind of understand what's exactly going on. So that's...
Yeah, so, I was often doing tests mid-conversation as we're cracking jokes, as, you do with 9-year-old boys just to keep them off the idea of stuff.
Yes.
And it was funny because, just even those instances, I remember if I was more formal about it, it would be a positive. But if I wasn't formal about it, it'd be a negative. So there was
That's experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I'll write down all the other stuff that I needed to. But needless to say, it got to the point where I had to put him in a knee brace, which is a topic that we're about to get into right here. But from that point till now, we're actually really more strength training him just to get ready for his upcoming seasons here.
So let's actually jump into that. So I was going to say we parlay this and that because last time we talked about prosthetics, basically
for foot ortho,
orthotics, and a knee brace is another prosthetic. Anything you point to your joint or your body to help you move or exist, that's a prosthetic. So with him, this is an important concept that I don't think a lot of people really understand. So with him, he's going playoffs into finals. He's great on the team. He's top guy on the team, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
So they really need him on the floor. Now, yes, not life and death. It's not like if he didn't play, the world was going to end, for sure. But he also wasn't that bad pain-wise. We had a good pain management process.
Yeah.
We found out taping, a sleeve, a brace, all those things helped him get through those matches, and we can get the pain calmed down after.
Yeah.
So any parents out there that have competitive kids, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. I don't want him to, we established he's not going to break anything, barring a trauma, which wouldn't have mattered, whatever, because hockey. But we braced him and we got him through his finals. And that was important because the braces are for that kind of purpose.
Yeah.
I just had a patient go back from, what's the Disneyland in Florida? Disney World?
Disney World,
yeah. Okay. There for a week, and he had both his knees bugged him. Mm-hmm. So it was one of those things where it's like, well, put a knee brace on.
Yeah.
Have to take Advil, take Advil.
Mm-hmm.
Like, enjoy your vacation.
Yeah.
We'll fix things when you come back. So this is a perfect example of that scenario. Is like, we'll fix him when the finals are done.
Yeah.
And get him out of the brace and get him stronger. Because that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a gifted kid, but he's lacking the essential strength.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and he's at like the 9-10 range where, he's about to hit like puberty soon. Like somewhere in that age range from 9 to, it could be as late as 15, right? Yeah. 15, 16. But we just have to get him stronger, and his body's just at that weird position where he's a little lanky right now.
Oh, awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a baby giraffe.
Yeah, baby giraffe. Like he's strong, but
on
not strong yet. So I have to, when we do his rehab and strength training, just because he's also like a 9-10-year-old kid, I have to make it fun but challenging and hope for the best sometimes.
So what I just brought, it's going to be fun and challenging. I love that little thing. Yeah. Yes, and for the parents out there, this is a great way to kind of talk about this piece too. When we're talking about 9, 10, 11 years old, this is that puberty, prepubescent puberty stage. Mm-hmm. And the reason it's awkward is because the bones don't grow symmetrically, meaning both thigh bones aren't lengthening or growing girth at the same time. Mm-hmm. There's little deviances, a little weird. Like I've seen kids with short legs on one side and 6 months later, now the other side's short. It's like their body's just growing and it's just developing, and the muscles are trying to keep up, tendons trying to keep up, so forth. When you're an athlete, the problem is you're putting unnatural stress into developing areas. Mm-hmm. And the muscles haven't caught up to stabilize that joint, so that's why you get joint issues. So you get Osgood-Schlatters and Sievers and all kinds of other funky little fun kids injuries. Yeah. Which we thought his was like an Osgood-Schlatters thing.
Well, where he was complaining about the pain and the tenderness and how he'd move his knee, it popped up as Osgood-Schlatters in my brain initially. Yeah. Just because, like, funny enough, I actually had Osgood-Schlatters disease.
Most
so I was like,
kids, it's not uncommon.
Yeah. And it was a knee injury, and he's around the age. So I'm like, yeah, that might be it. But after him just came back.
I didn't think it was it. After I saw him, I'm like, I didn't get that. I got just that he like sprained his knee.
I can see that.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Just stress. And again, like I said, his muscles, is like his joints, meaning that his muscles aren't strong enough to save his joints. So his joints do too much work. Yeah. So your meniscus, the MCLs, all those ligaments and connective tissues can actually be sprained. Yeah. I mean, I could tell, I love this story. There's a football player we had at one of the games, and he actually pinched his meniscus. It got pulled out and pinched and stuck. So we spent 15 minutes in the locker room massaging it back in. Bink. Finished football game. Yeah, meniscus move. Yep. So you can actually sprain them, pinch them. Like the tissues in our body, everything is, malleable in a way. So it's kind of interesting how it works. But anyway, so this young man, that's where we're at with as far as the getting stronger part goes.
Yeah. It's been fun. It's been fun trying to teach a 9-year-old how to squat.
And it's like hurting kittens. Dude.
Yeah.
I have 3. And I remember that age when all 3 were like 9 to 12. It was better like 8 to 11. Just trying to get him to the table for dinner was like herding kittens. Oh, yeah. 2 would sit, third one go down, the first one get up, and they had something. I got to get this. Yeah. Okay. As they're on their way back, another one took. I forgot this, and I'm sitting like, sit down and eat. You can get that later. Yeah. And it's funny. Anyway, but back to this. Yeah.
And obviously trying to kind of talk about the importance of like, this position versus this position. They're zoning out. So
they're tuning you out immediately.
Yeah. I kind of have to like figure out how to make it fun and also make it beneficial for him. Yep. So to the point we actually got pretty freaking strong at one point where we're doing med ball throws, the rotational ones, because I mean it's going to be a part of his sport. Might as well get him strong there. Yeah, he was throwing. He's whipping around the 10-pound med ball really fast at this point. Yep, he'll hit me in the chest. I'm like, that was something special there.
Sometimes you're like, wow, because you do forget. When was the last time you were 9? Like you don't remember how strong you are or were. Yeah, and now you're like, I mean, obviously you're strong now. Yeah, but back then it's like you didn't know and every my boys, I have one, like I said, he's 6'3", 14 years old. He's well into puberty, getting his man muscle, his little attitude. And then my younger son hasn't even gotten close. And so he has like little boy muscles. Yeah. And he's learned that he can't wrestle his big brother anymore because his big brother just pick him up and toss him. Yep. So he has alternate ways of messing with him now. But it's a very funny thing because you're like, you guys came from the same exact gene pool. Yeah. And you're developing completely different. Yeah. And then you have this kid like him, he's gifted. He has, I'm going to say, his lever arms neurologically fire better. Yeah. Than some kids do at 9. They'll get there eventually, but just his are there. Yeah. That's always problematic because his physical body, the pieces, aren't developed to absorb that. This happens a lot in pitchers too.
Yeah.
Where they'll start whipping the ball at 90 miles an hour. I'm like, their body cannot handle that. You shouldn't be.
Yeah, not yet.
Like the curveballs. And I'm like, that's not good. But anyway, so for him, it's like hockey. He's got this whip with a stick.
Yeah.
Throttling this puck.
Oh, yeah.
But his poor body can't slow down the velocity very well, which is where I think the knee issue kind of came from, right?
And, if it's hockey, they're playing on ice. There's so many.
Hockey's on ice?
At least for the most part.
Just kidding.
Unless you're in California, apparently.
And so even when you shoot, you're still unstable.
Yeah.
No matter how you position yourself or how good you are,
Yeah.
there's still some slide of something. So
yeah. So it's really interesting. But needless to say, he's doing pretty good right now. I know he's in tryouts.
Good luck out there, buddy.
Yep. So hopefully killed him.
Yeah. I mean, his mom came to me with a hockey injury too.
Oh, yeah.
She came and was like, what? I'm thinking you guys aren't very good at hockey anymore. You could get hurt.
That's that family. I forgot about that. She came in with a hockey injury. Dad came in with a weird shoulder injury a while ago.
Yeah,
And I was like, that's just that family.
Yeah. And I love them to death. They're a great family. It's like our job is to keep them together. And hopefully, knock on wood, we're doing that. But yeah, so with the 9-year-old parents, if you're curious out there, just because youth athletics is really a topic I love talking about. Because there's so many things to consider when you're talking about your athlete. Like if he came in and we feel like he truly had a meniscus tear, MCL tear, like a tear, like damage, we got to pull him because he's young. He's got a long career ahead of him. We don't want to, do it now. Yeah. But once we assess that it was maybe a sprain and we could stabilize it and strengthen it, go. Like go. Yeah. And so this is a part of what we do things here because we base a lot of our therapy on movement and strength. Yeah. And when people don't quite look, what that means out there exactly is a great story about my wife. She was having heel pain again. My wife loves to walk. She's like, it's like, remember in Forrest Gump, because I went running and just ran for days? That's my wife. She could walk for hours and hours and hours on end. So she goes, well, why does my heel hurt? I'm like, because you're walking for hours and hours on end. When's the last time you did leg day? And she goes, it's been a while. Okay. So how's your heel feel right now? It's painful. Okay. Let's go in the garage. Pull out the kettlebell. Did I tell the story already?
I'm not sure about here. You told me.
Yeah, maybe I told you and I'm just repeating myself. Not right. If you guys heard this, just, well, listen again. It's great. It's a great story. Heel hurts walking in. We do sumo deadlifts. I think she had a 53-pound kettlebell. Yeah. And we did goblet squats. And I think she was rocking a 33 on that one. And it was 10 on the minute, alternating for, I think we did 8 minutes. Yeah. Because it got tiring fast. She finishes. We go in the kitchen. We got a protein shake. We're laughing, talking. And she goes, wait a second. And I go, what? She goes, my heel does not hurt at all. And I just looked at her. I'm like, yeah. And she's like, how did you do that? I didn't. You just used your hips. It's magical. So movement, when we talk about that topic, and this is why we emphasize this prosthetics or braces or orthotics or whatever, you're taking the movement, the natural movement out of the body. And once you do that, the body has to compensate. That's what braces do. It's what orthotics does. So for her, even though she loves walking and everything, her hips weren't strong enough to handle the walks at some point in time. So once we got those hips, and yes, it was literally that fast. Once her hips turned on, her foot got a break. So you walk around, she hasn't had a heel pain since. Oh, and guess how many leg days she's done in the last 3 weeks?
4.
Oh,
nice.
And road.
Oh, nice.
So she's actually putting together that stuff. And it's not that she's not smart or whatever. It's just that people don't always connect those dots. Yeah. Right? And we always say in here, it's like, it's not that you do rehab, it's how you do it.
How you do it, yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the big thing. So with him, our first goal is out of pain. Second goal, out of brace and function. Yeah. And then the fun stuff. And because the first 3 weeks sucks. Yeah. I'm going through it. It sucks. I look at kettlebells and I'm like, I want to lift you. And I can't. Yeah. Barbells, I can't touch you. Yep. Sorry. I'm going to go do my wall RDLs with 5 pounds. But anyway, I'm done with that one. So anyway, that's the movement component of what we do. The thing that makes it like kind of fun is you're teaching people how to move better. Like we talked about your guy a while back, the power lifter with the shoulder, tweaked his arm a little bit on this and that, fixed it on the bench press, pain's gone. So that's important, guys. That's like really what the whole goal is. 90% of our clients that have pain have nothing to do with an injury whatsoever. Yep. They're just moving badly. So
it's
definitely jumped all over your topic there. Okay. He was supposed to talk, but I just cannot.
He's just passionate about it.
Shut this thing down. My wife, she's laughing right now. She's like, oh, I know. But anyway, so continue what you're doing though.
But for him right now, it's just, hey, we're just getting him stronger. And plus, as he ages up, he'll get stronger too naturally. But we want to connect the dots a little bit earlier, especially if he's going to be doing more athletic things. Yeah. And he's not just a hockey he's not just a hockey guy. Although that's his main thing that he loves doing. Like he's signed up for a bunch of stuff. Like he's doing Muay Thai now, Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah. I'm like, okay, yeah,
that should end well.
Yeah. So like, I think he also is signed up for a basketball league too. So he's doing a lot.
The kid's good. Yeah.
So we have to make sure his body's ready to do all of it. And that's really my job right now.
Yeah. And it's the great thing. There's double-edged sword. The great thing about young kids is because they're so pliable, they bounce back pretty quick.
Yeah.
The other great thing is they can actually get relatively stronger faster because they haven't had years of compensations like we've had.
Yeah.
The downside is their body's still developing. So as you develop with them, as their lever arms change, you have to change.
Yeah.
So they might do, that's a bad example. Let's say like bear crawl holds or crab walks or body weight type stuff. But they may always have to do that until their body's kind of developed because every 6 months, the angles have changed. Yeah. He has more, his lever arms are longer. Lever arm is like from my elbow to my wrist, right? How that pulls. Those lever arms are kind of how you're doing the thing. So that's how he has to kind of keep his thing going. So it's kind of it's fun, also challenging.
Yeah. I like how you mentioned that just because I remember when he first started, he was was shorter than me by like a head's width. Now we're about the same height. Yeah, so I'm like, cool.
You're watching kids grow. Like it's honestly there's so many fun parts of our job, but that is fun with kids. When it comes to children, you just get this, like they walk in, like I just had a football player heading off to Fresno State yesterday. God, I hope they do well. I should text him.
Yeah, we'll check in with him.
Had to do a little tryout as a wide receiver, but he walked in 1 year. This is 2 years ago, and he's 6 foot-ish, just maybe a hair taller than me.
Yeah.
Comes back in the following summer, and I'm looking up at him.
Yeah.
I was just like, when did that happen?
Yep. Also, our other wide receivers that we treat, the one with floppy hair.
Yeah.
Him. I remember when I was like closer to his height, I'm like, yeah, we're kind of the same age and everything like that. And then I look at him now, I'm like, dude, he got so big. Yeah, not only here, but he got wide too.
Yeah. They start filling out. Yeah. They lose the baby fat and off they go.
Yep.
So back to the prosthetic part. When we're talking about prosthetics, whether you're a 9-year-old kid, you're a 60-year-old guy with knees or bad knees or whatever, those things are not meant to be a lifestyle ever. And so whether it be orthotics in your shoes, a knee brace around that, elbow brace, what have you, when we say to you, you need to find out why they're hurting. It never is as easy as saying, oh, it's arthritis or, oh, it's this or that or strained muscle or what have you. There's always more to that story, right? Now, if you don't want to go deeper and you're choosing to pop Advil, put on a brace, put on orthotic, whatever, because that's how you want to handle it, go for it. We're here when you change your mind. Yeah. But that is not the way you want to live in a lifestyle. Because I promise you, I mean, I'm 52 now. When I was your age, that hurts. When I was your age, right, I didn't worry about anything. There was no warming up. There was no this. Give me the pre-workout. Let's go. We're going 100 miles an hour the whole day, right? Now my warm-up is longer than my workout some days. And that's because, well, part of it is I always broke myself and then tried to figure out how to fix myself so I could fix another person that way. That was kind of the fun part. I always use myself as like the dummy first. Let's see, okay, let's try this. Yeah. But now it's like I'm paying for it a little bit. And I'm also hard-headed. I don't want to be told what to do. My body's not going to tell me. Wife's not going to tell me. I'm doing what I want to do. Yeah, it doesn't work out. That does not work out. So, yeah. Anyway, so the prosthetic part, that's kind of what we're getting to. And if you choose to keep it and want to use it, that's fine. We're just, as doctors, telling you, this is the problem you're going to run into in the future, is you're going to get to a point where the prosthetics have to be increased and changed and altered. Yeah. And then things stop working. And then if you're too old, they're going to kind of stay that way. Or the effort to get back. Like I always say, there's a fork in the road. When you hit that fork in the road, you can go fix yourself or prosthetize yourself, prosthetics. The further you go down that road, meaning the more years you spend on it, the further you are from that V again to come back to the other side. So that's why I tell patients, when they get hurt, call us immediately. Yeah. They said, really? I said, the day after, the day of, I don't care. And they always ask why. I said, because you just had a fork in the road. If you deviate and keep going, the longer you go, the harder it is to come back. That's just the way it is. And when things go away, nothing ever goes away. You have... your ACL went away. It's gone. But point is that, like, if you have back pain and then now you don't have back pain, it didn't go anywhere. Your body just figured out how to move around it without annoying it. That's it. Like right now, I feel fine. I haven't had pain. Well, I did check something this morning. Still a little tweak there. So I was like, okay, I'm not 100%, but I know how to check it. But I don't check it every day. It's like once a week. But I could go deadlift something and probably be fine.
Oh, nice.
But guess what? It won't I'll hurt myself again because I won't go just deadlift to see if I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'll go deadlift and now it's a 5x5.
Yeah, I know you.
It's not like, oh, let's get the kettlebell and let's do cleans. Like, no, that's not, we're not there yet. So that's that kind of process. So in your mind, always think as a person out there, this incident happens, fork in the road, which way am I going?
Yeah.
That's it. And braces and all that stuff. Now, again, this young man was a special case because he's in finals.
Yeah.
And I tell every parent, I'm like, you got the Olympics this weekend? We will glue, duct tape, kinesio tape, brace, whatever on this earth we have. I'll go to Home Depot and just start pulling things out to put you together to get you through this.
Yeah, we'll literally read the rule book of what sport you're allowed to do.
What's legal, not legal? What can we do?
What can we do?
And we're going to tiptoe the gray area like yes, we are. Because that's a big event. And not just a big event in the sense of the time frame, but also your life.
Yeah.
Right? Those memories, those experiences, like that's important to us. So yes, I want you to have that. Now, again, mind you, if you have a stress fracture in your tibia, so shin splints leads to a stress fracture and you want to run a marathon,
that's different.
And this thing's about to snap, no, you're not. Yeah. There's nothing we can do for 26.2 miles.
Yeah.
That makes no sense. But if you have a stress fracture in your tibia and you have a swim event, go swim.
Get away with it.
Yeah, we can brace that sucker up. Go swim. You'll be fine. So they're different things, and that's what you get to. I will give us a little credit as a sports rehab doctor.
Yeah,
that's what we do best. We're trying to figure out how to make sure you can keep moving without causing irreparable damage.
Yeah,
while fulfilling a goal or a task you have in mind. Ooh, that sounded good.
Yeah,
make sure we clip that. That was real, and we have to write that down so I don't forget to say that again. That was great. Yeah, whatever minute we are. That was fantastic. So that's the simplest way to put it. You really were trying to finish this goal and task without breaking yourself and enjoy the experience, because that's the big thing. Like I said, the guy went on vacation, brace it, Advil, don't care.
Yeah.
Go enjoy yourself, because he's 60 something. So, it's like the bottom line is there's an end to this whole joyride, right? Get that experience and enjoy that experience.
100%.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And if it's going to if I was like, oh, you're going to hurt yourself doing this, that's a different conversation. But guess what? Get crutch.
Yep.
Get something to help you. I could just go. Don't not live life, but be smart in how you do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the orthotics, I always want to have like a game plan of how long are we in this?
Beginning and end, yeah.
Like, what are we doing with this and what's the purpose? Like, if I know I have a couple friends that they get a little hesitant about doing specific motions and everything without their knee brace, even though their injuries were like a year, 2 years ago.
Psychosomatic.
Yeah,
the mental block.
Which I get, because like if you go through a very traumatic event for an injury, you find some solace in, hey, I have a brace, I'm going to be okay, right?
Yep.
That's not the purpose of that brace. It's like if we had a building and you just kept the scaffolding on it and just said, we're good, like, no,
just
that's
in
not the
case
purpose.
we need to repair something.
It's like,
no,
that's not what it's for. Like, the bracing has a time and purpose, and we're not saying that they're bad. It's just we need to do the right things for
What's
them.
the intent? Yeah.
So like if you have a break, right? If you fracture your arm, you're gonna be put in a cast.
But it's not forever.
It's not forever. There's an end date to that.
Better be.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope so. But yeah, it has an end date. You kind of have to see the brace as the same thing. And from that point, we work on all the other stuff that we can work with, and we'll work off of that.
And always remember, I mean, just people out there in general, regardless of age, pain is the symptom of a problem, not the problem.
Yeah.
That's because you have, like my wife, she had pain in her heel. Well, if she went to a normal doctor, they're going to narrow focus right on that heel. And what can I do to fix that heel, even though that heel is not the problem? It's just where the pain manifested. So once we got her hips active, literally 45 minutes later, pain was gone. And of course, she went out for a 45-minute walk after. I was like, why? Anyway, so it's a never-ending battle. Love you, hon. So it's one of those things that, you definitely, there's always a place and a time for everything, or time and place, however you want to say it. And that is a big deal, because we deal with that, because patients come in all the time and they'll look at my shoes, because I wear zero shoes. So I have zero drop, flat rubber sole. And they say, well, don't your feet hurt? And I'm like, no. Oh, well, I mean, if I'm on my feet for 10 hours in a day, then they're going to be a little bothered because you're on your feet for 10 hours. I can't imagine you can't really train for that. But I said they're tired, but the next day they feel fine, but there's never a pain.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's interesting. And they come in with, the sofa cushions, and they said, I wear these. And I was like, oh, geez, are you walking cross country? What are you doing with those? And so it's a fun way to say, let's get you transitioned out of those things, because just by human design, our feet should be more natural. Everything should work more. Even with you have no ACL.
Yeah.
One of the biggest, stabilizers, if you will, of that knee joint not shifting and going somewhere is gone. but you can still function, power lift, run, jump, do all kinds of things.
Squat, yeah.
You just can't play basketball. No, I'm joking.
I have to change my game.
Really, but they will work before, won't work anymore. But it's one of those things like you can get around it.
Yeah.
And for you, it's like if you putting on a brace to play basketball helps you, put on a brace.
Yeah.
Play basketball. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
But then it comes off. It's not meant to be at work and like here and run around and walking, which no.
Yeah.
But that one thing, yeah. But it became like every day I squat, I'm wearing a brace. If it helps you focus on making sure you're doing the right things with that knee, then fine.
Yeah.
Again, it's fine. It's not a lifestyle. It's a prosthetic for a purpose of my mental clarity while I'm doing this.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And again, those are all different things. So yeah.
I'm not walking around with a knee brace right now because I'm still dealing with, I wouldn't say dealing, but it's 13, 14 weeks away from tearing my meniscus and MCL again.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that first couple weeks, I'm like, I might need a brace to walk around because the knee's going to swell. So,
you need to, that's purpose.
Yeah.
Right? Purpose driven.
But after that, I'm not using it. I'll still run around, do some other stuff. I'm not playing basketball for that.
No.
If I do, I might throw on the brace for a little bit more stability on the side, but I don't know if that's because I need it or just up here. So there's a purpose. I'm just not relying on that thing.
Yeah. And it's funny because I'll get these questions too. He's a power lifter. Do you compete?
No, since the injury, no.
Do you want to compete in the future? Okay. So for a power lifter, like we had the young man who's a hockey player and he wants to play basketball and he loves hockey and he's really good at it in basketball. So I was like, I might not do that because there's this risk of other things.
Yeah.
However, if the kid really wants to play basketball, then go play basketball.
Yeah.
Have fun. Just don't worry about it. Yeah. With you as an adult, you want to power lift and compete. It's not worth risking because you're lacking in materials.
Yeah.
The risk of that injury in playing basketball will keep sidelining your powerlifting career and ultimately sideline it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, when I retired from volleyball, it broke my heart because I love volleyball.
Yeah.
But my knee kept swelling up like a watermelon. And I'd be down for 3 weeks, like barely walk with it because it's so swollen. I'm like, that's not fun.
Yeah.
It just sucked all the enjoyment out. So, anyway, this is very sad all of a sudden.
Yeah,
Let's pick this sucker up. Blah. So, anyway, back to the fun stuff. So, for those out there always wondering about prosthetics, orthotics, anything, braces and whatever, sleeves, make sure the purpose, the intent of the use is that you're trying to get it to get you from point A to point B, and that's just a piece of it.
Yeah.
And then make sure, for the love of God, strength train. And that doesn't mean I got to tell this story. We didn't check into my week. We just went off on a spread. This is awesome. So I got the comment back. So and I phrased it wrong for her. That was my fault. But a patient came in. She's a tennis player. Got back on the court, started playing tennis. Now our intern, who we're going to have on here in a little while, Kiara, she has one of the most beautiful squats ever.
Yeah.
I had her do a squat. I was like, I was jealous. I was like, God, you suck. And so I said, okay, this is how, because she was asking like learning evaluations and things of that nature. This is what we do, and here's an assessment. I said, okay, let's try the kickstand squat. So I had her pop her leg up, do a kickstand. She collapsed. Everything fell apart. And I was like, oh, and she looked at me like, what happened? And I started laughing. I'm like, you're weak. You have like everybody mixes up mobility and stability. Most people have good mobility. They feel tight because they have horrible stability. Those are two different things, right? So she has plenty of mobility. Like her stretching is almost pointless. Not literally, but like 95% pointless. Her working on stabilizing everything is like 100% important for her, right?
Yeah.
So fast forward to this tennis player who's a collegiate level tennis player. She's just getting back into it. She took a hiatus, just a mental break.
Yeah.
Now she's getting back into it, and I asked her how it feels. She's like, great. I was like, I can imagine. So I ran her through the same exact test, and Kiara was in the room. She squatted, beautiful. One leg literally almost fell over.
Yeah.
And Kiara looked at me and smiled. I'm like, it's common. And she's like, oh my God. I'm like, I never thought about that. I said, yeah, that's those differences when you come in our office versus some other offices, right? And so I was talking with her and we're going through it. I said, we have to get you stronger. And she looked at me like daggers. I don't want to get big. And she was genetically gifted. So she has muscles already. Like she's a muscular girl. She's genetically built that way. Yeah. There's no way around it. And my mistake was when I'm speaking to her, and women and men are different when it comes to this. Yeah. You say that to a guy, you're a beast. That's a compliment.
Like, hell yeah.
The wrong girl? Oh my God. She might cry on the way home, right? It's just, everybody's different, but men and women are different things. So I looked at her and I said, look, I didn't mean get stronger, bigger, because it's really hard to do. You're trying to do it, and it's hard to do. Yeah. And you're kind of built for it, and it's still hard, right? Yeah. So with her, I said, I misspoke, and I apologized to her. And I said, what we need to do is get you stronger in a tendon ligament stability way, meaning your ability to hold a position under duress, so weight, for a period of time or certain movements or what have you, so you can control that movement. So when you're playing tennis, it's more controlled.
Yeah.
Because tennis, unlike golf, like golf, the ball is not moving. So you're not doing anything. It's hard because you have to have the identical swing for 18 holes, 50-ish swings a round, right?
On different levels of ground. Yeah.
I mean, undulating. I mean, everything's weird.
Yeah.
Rough, mostly rough for me. I'm at the beach a lot. Love the beach.
I lose many balls.
Yeah. But in tennis, it's a reactive thing. So you're reacting wherever they hit the ball. And they're trying to hit it in a place you can't get it.
Yeah.
So it's going to be extra hard to go get it. So you want to create those stability. So I had to reframe that. But I thought it was funny because a lot of women out there really do think that, if they lift weights, they're going to get bulky. And my wife was guilty of one of them too. It is just not that easy.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to eat a boatload. You have to lift a boatload, and you got to be consistent for years on end.
Yep.
That's it. Now there's easy gainers and whatever. But anyway, I just had to share that part of my week because it was very funny.
Yeah.
But she's one where we jump into this. She has shin splints. She has a low back issue. And as I showed her and tied that all into her instability in her hips, it all started making sense.
Yeah.
And I was like, fantastic. Because the one thing, if we can do anything for our clients, it's get them to understand their bodies.
Yeah.
If they can comprehend what we're explaining, then we'll mitigate so many future risks or injuries.
Yeah.
Because they'll get it faster. So anyway, had to share that. That was funny. I don't want to get bulky. Like I do. I'm trying.
It's hard. It's hard to really get bulky. It's a journey. I mean, I've gained a lot of like muscle mass and also just fat from doing it.
It's cycles.
It's cycles, but
and genetics.
It's really hard to do. So
people say I can stay lean and get big at the same time. I'm like,
no,
unless you're genetically gifted. I've met 2 people like that. That's it. Everybody else, no, not so much. Yeah, not so much.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's we got a tangent off of that. So this young lady, she had shin splints, and let's say we put a sleeve around her calf because she's going to Wimbledon. Okay,
it's Wimbledon, yeah.
Same thing, same premise. So yeah, but getting her stronger. She's coming back next week, and we're going to start the strength program.
Fun.
Yeah. And just for curiosity's sake, out there, we're going to go with a really basic stabilization. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag on what we do, but we're going to do some special stuff with her. That's going to help build some tendon tensity. I can't think of the word used for it.
Just
but
tendon strength? Or you
tendon strength, yeah.
Tensile strength?
Tensile strength, there it is. New vocabulary here. It's like playing Scrabble sometimes. Tensile strength and help her be able to get better reactive forces. So
that's great. Fun. Yeah. That's fun because like I'm working with another tennis player around the same age, probably a little bit older. Like for the most part, he's actually fine outside of like dumb injuries. Like, hey, I jumped out of my car, rolled my ankle. I'm like, come on, dude.
Oh, this guy.
This guy.
I love him.
But he actually, I think it was it SDSU? He got accepted to a school for tennis.
That's awesome.
So I was just asking like, hey, what are your plans here? He's like, well, I want to play, but also I think I'm not serving it fast enough. I'm like, oh, we can make that happen.
Oh God, yes.
So that training is different from that training.
Yes, 100%.
Oh yeah,
100%.
So a lot of explosive stuff, lots of strength stuff.
It's fascinating. It's the literal fun of like that's the pain part is not the fun part. People come in and they have sprained ankles, back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, whatever, and you get through it, and it's unfortunate because they're bummed because they're in pain.
Yeah.
You're bummed because they're in pain. And then you're bummed if you're not helping the way you want to. Yeah. Like people always ask, because I generally have a pretty happy demeanor. Yeah. And they say, are you ever sad or upset? Or like my worst days are when my patients aren't doing what I'm hoping they should be doing. Yeah. Like in my mind, there should be a timeline. You tweak your low back a little bit. I'm thinking 6-8 visits, you should be fine. If we're at visit 7 and you're 60% better, I'm mad. Yeah. Now, mind you, they could be out playing golf or playing tennis or doing whatever, but those are my bad days. So I'm not always happy. I get, those bum me out, but because our egos are wrapped up in their success. Yeah. You know what I mean? We feel better when they feel better and we feel worse when they feel worse. Yeah. So it's kind of one of those really fun, undulating, emotional, erratic states on a roller coaster. But once we get past that piece and we say, all right, we got box jumps in, med ball throws, and burpees. I love burpees. Yeah. That is like the best. Oh, I gave my kids burpees. I had my kids do a workout because they had a break on swim. And the next day they were walking around like almost like they were old people. Yeah. And my wife texted me. She goes, what did you do to them? And I said, hip throws, burpees, box jumps, something big. She's like, all of them say they can't sit because their butt's sore. And I said, that's sad because they only did like 60 reps. Like
swimmers.
Swimmers. Waist down, nothing. Just nothing there. Yep. Craziness. But anyway, so that was a fun thing this week. So I'm excited about that next week. I'm looking forward to it. I got to do that programming this weekend, but I am excited.
Oh yeah. I remember for my tennis player that I'm treating, I told him, I was like, you're going to take this ball. You're going to throw it as hard as you can at the ground. He's like, I can? I'm like, yeah. we're doing that.
Go for it.
That's what we're looking for.
Break it.
We're basically trying to get his serve up a couple miles per hour.
Yeah.
Just because he says it's a little slow comparatively. I'm like, no, we'll get there.
Yeah.
But in order to get there, we got to throw this hard.
Yeah, you got to get. Yeah. It's funny because we get in plyometric training. I remember years back because in volleyball, it was very new at the time, and I found a coach who was very smart with his programming, and I started picking his brain.
Yeah.
Plyometrics, because you're a tennis player. Plyometrics is fantastic for that stuff. And I said, but what's the catch? And he goes, what do you mean? I said, there's always a catch. Olympic lifting is fantastic.
Yeah.
As long as hip, pelvic core strength, like if you have all these things so that you can pick the bar up properly, technique of the movements, whatever, powerlifting, same thing. Yeah. If you got a horrible hip hinge, that's not awesome for you, right? So I said, what's the catch with plyos? There's got to be something. And he looked at me and he started laughing. He goes, okay, here's the catch. Too many people are getting into it without strength training. Yeah. You have to strength train first so you can absorb the ground reactive forces that you're trying to redirect, meaning that you jump onto a box, off a box, and jump onto a taller box, that kind of thing. Bounding, jumping with one leg to the other. Funny story just popped in my head. We didn't hear once. You know what I'm talking about. I thought I was flying high still, and my vertical is not what it used to be. Anyway, so you have to redirect these forces. Well, the tendons, tensile strength, this is why I was talking about tennis player, basically plyometric type stuff. The tendons, not the muscles, the tendons have got to be able to absorb that power that's coming out of it. If they can't, that's where you start breaking things down. Yeah. Because I was noticing people doing plyometrics, all of a sudden we had tendinitis were popping up, patellotendinitis, Achilles tendinitis, strained muscles, pulled muscles. I was like, back pain. I'm like, why is this good then? And as I dove into it deeper and started talking to coaches who are actually applying this, and this is a long time ago, but I was like, well, that makes more sense. Yeah. Because most people get agility without strength. Yeah. Well, then you're going to hurt yourself at some point, right? The agility is meant to, it's like these precursors. Yeah. Good base strength, good mobility, because, if you're going to get bigger and stronger, your joints are going to be tighter, so you have to keep them moving, because that's just nature of putting on muscle, right? So there's a mobility component there. Then you get to the other stuff, the agility stuff, the plyometric stuff, and all that other kind of things. And if you have somebody like her that's very bendy, but very unstable, plyometrics could be dangerous.
Yeah, at this point.
Yeah. So you have to get certain strengths in her and then start applying otherwise. So,
I mean, you can kind of tell where we go with that. It's like strength is oftentimes like the foundation of whatever.
It doesn't mean you have to deadlift 300 pounds. No, that's not what we're saying.
I think it'd be cool to see.
It's always cool to see.
But we don't have to plan around that.
Yeah.
But
that's not the end goal for you. The end goal for you is to be able to pull good weight, but also stabilize single leg positions, things like that.
Yeah. So if you have the strength to do it, then we get to the technique of everything else, the ollie lifting or the plyos that we talked about. And when we talk about the tendons, they just take more time than muscles do. So
a little bit. Yep.
Yeah. So to have them be strong and bouncy and reactive all at the same time, it takes more time. So jumping straight into plyos might not be the best thing right off the bat.
And this is where you get into the steroids things that you see with guys who do steroids or girls. You'll find tendon and ligament issues because the muscles are getting the benefit of recovery and reloading, but not the tendons and ligaments.
Yeah, the tendons don't work like that.
Ligaments don't get blood flow. Yeah. Tendons get less blood flow than muscles, and muscles get most of the blood flow, right, for obvious reasons. Yeah. So you develop the muscles too much, and that's why in rotary sports, it's a really bad idea. Every rotary sport you'll see, somebody has a lot of ligament injuries, And Tiger, unfortunately, Tiger Woods, perfect example. He's not these on steroids, but he lifted weights, but he was an avid power lifter. Yeah. He loved lifting heavy weights. Yeah. Rumor has it, allegedly, grapevine, he would lift heavy before the Masters. In the gym, just crushing it, then go out and play 18.
I don't think I
want to crush it. Like freak, right? Yeah. Well, his problem was with the rotary sport is you have so much power, it's not creating the movement that hurts, it's stopping it and slowing it down. Yeah. And so he would be rotating at such velocity that his body struggles sometimes to and not just the swing, but his body. Yeah. He's just a big guy. Yeah. And so that's the hardest part is you get big guys, they can cheat. They can do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. The strongman problem.
Yeah. And so steroids just amplifies that when they get into that if they add a sport to it. That's why you don't see a lot of athletes on steroids per se with long careers. Yeah, I'm just gonna say that.
Long careers,
So anyway, but that's kind of where we're gonna wrap it up with the prosthetic stuff. So anybody out there has questions about this as it pertains to you personally, feel free to shoot us a text, call, comment in the comment box.
Just leave it in the comments.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he knows this. I don't know this stuff as well. So you can reach out to us one way or another, right? And we can help you out best we can, but just take it from the basics of a prosthetic or an orthotic or something on those lines. The goal of that is to help you get from point A to point B to which you don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
You should be working towards not needing it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's always crazy conditions, right? Of certain this, that, or the other. And I understand there's the one-offs, the 1%s there. But the rest of us, very much you need to be getting out of those.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So don't look at it as a lifestyle. Look at it as a blip in time we got to get through.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. You?
That's basically that game plan for the orthotics. That's all.
Yeah, that's a big, every patient I tell it to, their mouth's going to drop. Because like, well, they told me I needed this. I said, yeah, that's just an easy way. That's like popping pain pills.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to not feel pain. But if you don't fix why you feel pain, then you just pop them forever.
Yeah, we don't want that.
That doesn't really work. And I mean, it's funny, as a chiropractor, our literal philosophy is anti-drugs.
Yeah.
I mean, of every kind. So it's kind of a funny world. So anyway, wrap that up. I'm Doc T.
I'm Dr. David.
We'll see you guys next time.